This video will guide you through the process that you'll take to create a Bootstrap project in your GitHub account. I am currently looking at the eCampus lesson. Let me show you that we have the introduction to Bootstrap, tells you what you can do with Bootstrap, lots of things, lots of different things. We're going to be doing a couple of things because this is a quick lesson. Please follow the directions for 5.1 Bootstrap project. They will be further explained in this video. If you keep on scrolling, you'll see 5.0 install Bootstrap. This is actually older information that you can use still to create a Bootstrap account and a Bootstrap page using computers other than Chromebooks. You can use a PC or a Macintosh. Since I expect a lot of the students that need this video currently are using a Chromebook, we'll be using the directions in this video instead. But by all means, check out what that says if you'd like. So currently 5.1 Bootstrap project, I'm going to need a couple of things open besides eCampus, which is what I'm looking at. I'm going to create a new tab, or rather open a new tab, and go to my GitHub account, github.com. I'm already signed in. If you're not signed in, by all means, please sign in. Here's my account and my files. We will be creating a new folder called Week 5 for this. We'll also be needing some other things that are linked already in the lesson. We need to start by creating a new directory though in the GitHub account. We're going to call it Week 5, and inside there's going to be two other directories called CSS and one called JS. CSS file, which is just like we've been working on with this class, cascading style sheets, and JS, short for JavaScript. A lot of programs are going to go in there. Working with GitHub, though, it's a little bit different to create directories. As you have experienced by now, you know that you have to create a new file. And then as you create the file, you tell it, by the way, this goes in a new directory. So we're going to use a little bit of a trick here. I'm going to create a new file. There's no create new file, new directory rather button, but you can create that new file, and it will allow you then to give it a path to follow. We want a Week 5 directory, so that's going to be the first thing I type, Week 5. Followed by the slash. When I click on the slash, it tells me it's now going to create a new directory, and it's going to be called Week 5. I also want to have another file in here that it's just going to be a dummy file. It's just going to be holding things. I could do either readme.md, but since I'm going to come back and use it anyway, I'm going to call it index.html. I'll scroll down. I don't have to type anything in here, although I guess I could. I'll just type hello world. No code, just keep on going and commit this new file by clicking on the green button. So now I have a Week 5 directory, and inside the Week 5 directory I have an index.html file. We said that we also need two other directories, one called JS and the other one called CSS. So same process, rather than going to the file, I'm going to create a new file by adding it, add file, create new file. And since I want a folder called CSS, I'll start by typing out the folder's name, CSS, then slash, and here I'm going to type readme.md. MD is a markdown file, although there will not be any real code in here. I'll just say this is where the CSS goes. Just a little explainer to myself. I'll scroll down and commit the file to save it. I'll click on Week 5 to go back into that directory. I see I have a CSS folder created. I will add another file so that when we create it, we can add a JS directory. It's JS slash, and same thing, readme.md, another markdown file. And this is where the JavaScript goes. Keep on scrolling, commit the new file, and we have all these blank files. We have CSS open directory, we have JS open directory, we have index.html, which doesn't really say anything. And that's exactly what we want. Go back to the directions, and now we're going to upload the contents of CSS and JS directories to your site. Well, what am I talking about? We need to download the Bootstrap code. I'll click on that link, and here's the Bootstrap page. There's lots of documentation on this. I'm only going to cover very basic things to get us one page, and that's it. I'm going to tell it to get started. It gives me actually one of the more useful pages in the Bootstrap directory. It's got lots of quick hits and says, hey, you know, there's a community that can help you. It helps you with box sizing. It's got all of these cool things. It works with HTML5, etc. But what's great is it gives you lots of things to get started. So including the CSS and the JS, which we'll be downloading. So I'm going to go back one though. This is the original page, getbootstrap.com. I'm going to tell it to download. In this download page, we have the compile CSS and JS, which is what we want. I'll scroll down just a bit and hit the purple button to download. I am in a Chromebook environment, so rather than seeing directories like I would on a PC or on a Macintosh or any kind of computer, I get the Google Drive. And I've already used it for this class. I've downloaded some files here for the CSS designer, and that's okay. They can share the space. I'm going to tell it to just download. It's called Bootstrap 4.50 distribution. Click on Save. And that was a quick download. I'm going to tell it to show me the folder once it downloads. If you don't see show me the folder or show the folder right away, you can always go down and scroll up into your Google Drive application. And that'll be, where is it here? Or you could go to drive.google.com. Maybe easier to do that. But at any rate, here it is open. And this Bootstrap 4.5.0, the best way that I found to get these zip files out, I'm going to double click on the zip file. Then I get to see what the directory is called, so it's just a folder. I'll double click on the folder, and here's the two folders that I want. I want JS and CSS. I'm going to click on one and then press and hold the Shift key and click on the other one so that they're both selected. Then I can right click and tell it to copy. This way I've copied these two directories and I can put them somewhere else. I'm going to go back using the arrow all the way to the beginning, and here I wish there were an up arrow, but there is not. So I'm going to look on my drive and find a place to put them. I am in the iMet2415 folder. That's where I put the zip file originally. I can right click then and tell it to paste those two folders that I copied. So I have JS and CSS in this other folder now. I can double click to open. One has a whole bunch of JavaScript files, and the other one will have a whole bunch of CSS files. These have been made and modified by teams of engineers for the past few years. They have lots of cool templates and resources that you can use for free. I would highly recommend checking out some free courses on this online later. So now that these files are here, I can close the Drive folder, go back to my GitHub where I have my blank CSS and JS, and I'll start with the CSS. I'll click on CSS. I have the directory that only has the readme.md, which displays this is where the CSS goes. I'm going to upload the contents of the CSS folder that I just downloaded by clicking on Adding File, Add File, and Upload Files. It will give me the opportunity then to choose my own files. That's this link right here. And make sure that I am in the CSS folder, and here's the CSS files. I'll click on the very first one, press and hold the Shift key, and scroll down. Well, before I press and hold the Shift key, I'll scroll down and then press and hold the Shift key and click on the very last file so that they're all selected. Then I can click Open, and they will be uploaded to that directory. Just give it a few seconds. It's telling me it's on file 10, 11, 12 files were uploaded. I'll scroll down and commit the changes to this folder. So now all the files that were moved into the folder are now part of my GitHub account online. It's processing the files, and it says it'll take a few minutes. Hopefully it'll only take a few seconds, and it'll be done. Now that that's done, it shoots me all the way back to the front. So I'll go back into week 5 and then find the JS folder. If you want to confirm the CSS, make sure that the files are there. It looks like they are. I'll go into the JS file and go through the same process. I will add a file, tell it to upload files, scroll to choose my own files, make sure that I'm in the right folder. I want the JS folder. I'll click on that, and I'll click on the first file and press and hold the Shift key and click on the last file. Now all the files are selected, and I'll click Open, and they are uploading. The system tells me that they're done, and I will tell it to commit the changes. So now I have all those files up there. It's processing. It'll be done in a couple of seconds. But once it is, I have to go back into the week 5 folder. See that I have CSS and JS. I'll open JS just to confirm that all my JS files are there. There's plenty of files there. And I'll go back and click on that blank index file that I created earlier. Doesn't say anything except hello world. I'm going to click on the edit this file icon, the pencil, and I'll delete hello world. Back in the lesson, well, we already went to Bootstrap. We're going to copy and paste the starter template code. So these pages are already built out. They're all text. They're all files that you can copy and paste. I'll click on Bootstrap site, and that takes me to the introduction page and getting started. I'll scroll down a bit until I find this this header that says starter template. Be sure to have your pages set up with the latest design. That means using HTML5 doc type, etc. So this is just a basic HTML page. I could select all that and copy it, or I could click on the copy to clipboard button. Tells me that it's copied. I'll go back to my GitHub. I'll click on the blank space, press Ctrl V to paste, V as in Victor. And here's the basic code. So doc type declares an HTML document. It's in English. Then it loads a character set. It's already loading CSS from another place, from a CDN. And then it's got a hello world message. I'll scroll down, tell it to commit the changes. As per usual, I have to wait to see that this goes through. While that's going on and I'm waiting, I could go to my very front page and click on the index.html page and edit this file. I have already, as I've gone along, I have linked my week links to the pages that they belong to. And because I'm using the same concept every time, I can just copy one of these. If you only have the week 2, you could copy just the week 2. Right click and copy. Make space for it at the end, or actually no, because I already have the week 5. If you don't have week 5, you could make space and then just copy, or rather paste this and replace it. Control V to copy or paste. And I'm going to change week 4 to week 5. And same thing with this, week 5, and tell it that this is going to be Bootstrap. These are just basic HTML links. Scroll down, commit the changes. Now I can go back into my main directory, find week 5, which is what I'm working on, and then I can click on the index.html file and visit it. I could type out all of this, or something I learned from another school, if you highlight the name of your file, including the repository and the directory, you could right click, copy, create a new tab, and paste it there, and just go and you see the starter page. It just says hello world, and that's fine. That's all we need for now. I can look at the source, page source, by right clicking, and here's the template that we copied so far. So it doesn't have very much information, and that's fine because we're going to be adding a lot to it. I'll close that. I'll leave this open so I don't have to copy and paste this anymore. I'll click on the pencil icon. I'm going to click where it says no wrap to a soft wrap so that I can see all the code at once as opposed to having to scroll all the way across. And since I'm editing it, I can do a couple of changes really quick. The title should not be Hello World. It's going to be my name. I'll just say Francisco's Bootstrap. Call it your Bootstrap, your name. And this Hello World, I'm going to select that line and enter a couple of times, and everything else will stay there. Note how we have a body on line 13 and I have a body here that closes on line 23. All of these scripts need to remain. They will load the JavaScript that we copied. The style sheet on top will take care of the CSS. In the meantime, though, I need to go find a good template to put into the body. I'll go back to the directions. I've already copied and pasted the starter code. I'm going to visit the examples and I'm going to select a template. Now you can experiment with different templates, different examples here. I want to pick one just that I know it's very straightforward and easy to use. It's the Jumbotron. It shows you kind of what it looks like. I'll click here. This is a complete page. The whole thing is done. So all we have to do is change the text or add pictures or tell it to do different things. Like I said, there's plenty of documentation on how to use these templates. I'm just going to give you the very basic rundown. And although it tells you, and this framework, Bootstrap, tells you to download a lot, but what they really mean is just get it. They expect you to know that you can just go in and copy and paste. This is all open source. So it's not stealing code, you're just using it. I'm going to right click on the page and tell it to show me the element, view page source. And it shows me all of the source, and there's lots of information, a lot of it that we don't need. I told you earlier in my hello world, or rather in my in the file that I have open currently in GitHub, we're interested in putting things inside of the body. So when we have this Jumbotron source code open, I want to find the body tag, and I'm going to press Control F and look for body, and there it is on line 36. I don't want the tag body, I want everything after it. I'm going to click, hold down the mouse button, and scroll all the way down to the other body, which is on line 111 at the end, but I don't want the tags that include body. So since all of this other text is selected, I can right click, tell it to copy, go back to my GitHub, and paste what I just copied. So we took everything that was worth anything from the template and we put it into our empty file. I can now scroll all the way down, tell it to commit the changes, wait for it to save and process and all that. In the meantime, this could be, I guess, a good time to go and see if I go just to my page that I have my Bootstrap link on. So I can click on it, and sure enough, it takes me to Hello World, which is what it looked like before we put in all this code. I reload it, and I see that everything has uploaded. So in 20 minutes, without doing much coding, it's been a lot of copying and pasting, we have created a template where we can do stuff. And what do I mean by that? Well, that would take a whole week really to explain. So let me make a cheap attempt at creating a page. So instead of Hello World, I can put my name, and instead of this is a template, I can say something. And these are buttons that actually go places. If you click on them now, they just reload the page because they have hashtags in their links. You see how that shows up? It says index HTML hashtag. It just means that it's to be decided. I'll go back into my GitHub, edit the file again, and scroll down and start to look for things. You see here the code, there's drop-down items, etc. I'm not going to go into these menus here. If you want, you can actually delete this, and I might do that before I'm done. I want to find the Hello World to put my name. I want to put in something else there. I want to change the text in the buttons, things like that. Like I said, maybe the navigation bar is too much. So let me find it really quick. So if I scroll down a bit here, I see that on line 15, navigation class, navbar, fix big and dark. That's what we're using. I'll scroll down a bit and I look until the end of nav here on line 46. That's all selected, and everything after that is the main, and that's fine. That's what I want. All of these things are it's the code that will allow us to program the buttons in the navigation. But I'm deleting them, and I'll just leave a space there so that I can tell where the body begins. And the main is open as main, and Jumbotron is displayed. It says Hello World. At some point on my line 20, I'm going to put in there my name, and I'll just say Francisco's Bootstrap project. And then this says this is a template for etc. I can't read to the end, so I'm going to click on the no wrap to soft wrap. And this is a template. The paragraph, everything inside of the paragraph, I'm going to select. And I'll just say that this is my Bootstrap project for IMED 2415 55800. I'll just say I'm at 2415. You may be in a different section. For Web 2, Bootstrap is an open source framework that is easy to use and freely available for anyone to place in their website. Then there's a button that says Learn More. I'm going to replace Learn More, and I'll say something like About Me. And maybe you want to link something somewhere else. What I can do is I can go and look at my LinkedIn page. If you don't have a LinkedIn, that's fine. If you don't want to put in your LinkedIn, that's fine. If you don't want to put in a link to a personal file, by all means don't. You can make it go to Google. But I'm going to look for my profile and view the profile, and I'll get the this link. That's what I want. I copied, or rather cut the URL, and in the place of the hashtag that goes nowhere, I will select the hashtag, delete it, press Ctrl V, and now it's got the link to my LinkedIn. I'll check on that later. I scroll down and my page currently looks like this. Hello world is going to be replaced with my name, something else, and then it says learn more. I have 3 headings and 3 buttons, and at the bottom it says company. Let's start with the easy part, the company. I'll leave the copyright there, but I'm going to change company to my name, Francisco Rodriguez, and I'll just put in 1 year here, 2020, the worst year ever. Not because of this class. I think you'll know why. And then go back and find those headings. I just did a search, and here's the heading on my line 30. So here, what do I want to do? Well, it's all up to you. Like, if this is going to be a page where you want to play with the content, you can do simple things that for example, here I can say web design, and then that's the header, so there's the paragraph that begins right underneath, and I can say something like, well, I don't need to make it up. If you don't like making up stuff inside of the project, I do have some dummy text. I'll say that W3 Schools is an excellent resource anyone can use, etc. I'm going to copy that text and then bring it back to GitHub and put it in that inside that paragraph marker there. Just paste it. And then below that it says view details. So here I can change this to be a link to w3schools.com. Then I can, just to make sure, I can go to W3 Schools, find something interesting, learn Bootstrap. Why not? These are pretty interesting lessons. I'll copy the URL from the address bar and replace the hashtag, which is where it's right here. It's on my line 34 with W3 Schools, Bootstrap, etc. I have another heading, and once again, if you don't like to make up stuff, here is all about Bootstrap. So I'll copy that, go back to my GitHub page, and we'll just say Bootstrap. I will get the text on line 38 that's inside the paragraph mark and paste it, what I just copied. Bootstrap is a powerful front-end framework, etc., etc. I will find the hashtag, or rather, instead of view details, I'll say just Bootstrap here. This is for the lessons, but you can say getbootstrap.com. That's their main page, Get Bootstrap. I'll copy this URL and put it in place of the hashtag. And then there's heading. And sorry I ran out of dummy text, but you can make something up. Maybe we'll make one up. And I'll just say something like, what is your favorite video game? The last one that I played that I really liked was Portal, actually Portal 2. Like everybody else in the civilized world, I'm waiting for Portal 3. I don't think that that's ever going to happen, so I'll just say Portal 2 and put in a brief. You don't have to write a long story about anything here. Just write some text, get it going, find some samples online. I can say that Portal 2 is a unique adventure game where you can travel through space and sometimes time to achieve tasks for the man-then computer, or something like that. If you played Portal, then you probably know it's about a lot of things. And then I'll just say Portal 2. I don't know what the website is, but fortunately we live in the present. And I can search for it, and it's a Steam game, so there it is, Steam powered. And there's the link, my URL. I'll copy that, or cut it, either way, and then put it inside of the hashtag on line 46. So I've done a lot of stuff here. I'm going to scroll all the way down, tell it to commit changes. I'm going to close some extra stuff that I have open, except maybe this file. That'll stay open because that's my week 5 index. I just need to be in week 5. And I reloaded, and here's my project. The navigation on top is gone, which is great, because although I would like to use it later, I can always go back to the Bootstrap project page and copy and paste not only that menu, but rather I could get different colored menus. I can get multi-function color layers. It's a whole thing. Like I said, this could be a whole class on its own, but we're covering it in a little bit over half an hour. And it's got my name at the bottom. The links should work. Let me click on W3 Schools. That takes me to the Bootstrap section of W3 Schools. Bootstrap, which I misspelled. Sorry about that. I'll fix it. Takes me to the Bootstrap page. And then Portal 2 will take me to the Steam Power page. Here it is. And of course, my About Me takes me to my LinkedIn. So how about that in 30 minutes or so, and we created a full web page. If you were to look at this in a mobile device, hopefully you'll notice that you've actually created a web application that will run on a mobile device. It's just a matter of playing with the CSS. It's a matter of bringing in some pictures, and you could have lots of fun with Bootstrap and building web pages and applications. Also, I'd like to stress that at no point did we spend any money on any technology to get any of this done. So, and we used a Chromebook. So, cheap computers to do projects like this. And this is just the beginning. Navigate the rest of the Bootstrap page and the samples, and you'll see that there's lots of options. If you used another template beyond the one that I use now, great. Hope it works for you. Make sure that you turn in the URL to your week 5, and that'll be that for the project, and that will be that for the semester. Have a great summer.